Rather lads, welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. Now, Victor Osimhen is waiting for offers from Arsenal. According to Gazzetta dello Sport, his camp think and are confident Arsenal will actually bid for the Nigerian striker. Now, Arsenal are still very focused on Benjamin Sesko, and this week we might see a major offer from Arsenal to RB Leipzig for Benjamin Sesko. If not that, we might actually see Arsenal going all the way to trigger the release clause of Benjamin Sesko. Now, we are remaining with around 10 days to the beginning of the Euros, and I can confirm that this deal is going to have a major twist this week. Also, Fabrizio Romano has just confirmed that in the next days, we're going to see Arsenal triggering the buy clause of David Raya, but also there is still a lot of interest from Arsenal in Johan Bakayoko. That is according to Fabrizio Romano. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. We're gearing up and we're building up to what we could be a fantastic week. We could see Arsenal's first signing this week, but we also could see Raya signing and Sesko signing, which makes it two deals, in one window. I mean, I can tell you something right now. Arsenal literally do not have a goalkeeper because Raya is could go back to Brentford if Arsenal decide against signing him, and then Aaron Ramsdale is definitely saying I want to go. So at the moment, Arthur Okonkwo is leaving. Maybe Carl Hayne, who is not actually yet agreed to a new deal. Arsenal don't have a goalkeeper at the moment, but of course that should be sorted out very, very soon. Let's get this video to 500 likes, and thank you so much for everyone who has subscribed in the last few days. Let's get this page to 80,000 subscribers. So let's start off with a big Osimhen story. It's been confirmed from Gazzetta dello Sport that Victor Osimhen and his camp are actually waiting for Arsenal, and an offer from Arsenal is expected by the Nigerian international and also his camp as well. Now, I'm not really sure why, but at least this is what has been said. According to Gazzetta, Victor Osimhen is expecting an offer from Arsenal this summer. Napoli want the entire 130 million euro clause paid, but won't keep him next season due to his 10 million euro salary rise. Osmihen is also welcoming offers from Saudi Arabia, the Middle East, and a couple of other clubs are very much interested in the Nigerian international. So Victor Osimhen, I don't expect anything to happen this week in terms of the Victor Osimhen story, but we might see whatever happens this week determines the Arsenal move for Victor Osimhen. If Arsenal signs Sesko, we're going to talk about Sesko in a bit, but if we talk about Arsenal signing Sesko this week or in the next 10 days, then I don't see how we go for Osimhen. I don't see how Arsenal sign Sesko and Osimhen in the same window, in the same in the same transfer window. I don't see that happening. It's either or, and I know many of you have told me, Cossy, it would be better if Arsenal got both of them. I wouldn't really have a problem with Arsenal going for Osimhen and then going for Sesko, but honestly, with all honesty, it's not going to be both of them. It's going to be just one of them, and I think it's going to be Benjamin Sesko. Now, I want to take this news with a lot of skepticism, especially given the fact that it comes from Gazzetta dello Sport. They are reliable when it comes to Italian news, but they're at times fluffy at times. They can do a bit of a nuisance at times in terms of reporting. I don't think Osimhen is waiting on Arsenal, and I don't think Arsenal, have anything they owe Victor Osimhen. I think because he wants to move to England, and Chelsea have actually broken down in terms of talks. They wanted to do a swap deal between them and Napoli for Romelu Lukaku, and that actually broke down. So because that move is not on, the only avenue Osimhen has to move to the Premier League if a club like Manchester United is not going to spend crazy money, or if Manchester City don't do a crazy deal, or Liverpool. I think the realistic outlet he has is Arsenal. And I think everyone involved in this deal knows if he's going to move to the Premier League at this moment, it's going to be to Arsenal. It's Arsenal that need a striker, and it's Arsenal that have wanted him in January, and it's also Arsenal that have the spending power to place 130 million euros like we saw last summer for Declan Rice, so we could do it for Osimhen. I don't think he's waiting on Arsenal. I think he will be tolerating offers from elsewhere. We've been told that he doesn't fancy a move to PSG. That could change, right? If there is no move to Arsenal, if there is no move to the Premier League, then he's definitely going to be going back to the French League One and maybe playing for PSG. So we wait and see. But at the moment, the good thing is that there are other clubs interested. Arsenal are also keeping a very close eye on the Osimhen situation, but I don't think Arsenal are going to pay this much. I don't think Arsenal are going to trigger that release clause, guys. It's ridiculous. 130 million euros. That is 110 million pounds. That is not going to be done. I don't see that deal done this summer. It would be good. Osmihen is a good striker. He's an accomplished striker. I mean, most of you talk about finished players, finished articles. I think he's a finished article. I think you bring him in, he does a very good job for you. Beyond that, sorry, goodbye. It's 130 million. I don't think Arsenal are spending that on their striker. Now, I tell you who I was spending money on this week. Arsenal could have a breakthrough on the Benjamin Sesko deal. Why? Now, Leipzig want a decision before the Euros. Arsenal do. Man City do, Manchester United do, and Chelsea do as well. And of course, Benjamin Sesko's future should be resolved before the Euros. How many days do we have to the beginning of the Euros? Just 10 days. In the next 10 days, we will be, I don't know the anthem of the Euros. I don't know how it goes. Like, I'm not very good at music, but if I was good at music, I would definitely be, singing, singing something regarding the Euros. But anyway, in any case, in the next 10 days, something should happen with a deal for Sesko. Either Arsenal start negotiations this week. We might see a couple of bids, flying by. I've seen that, Arsenal willing to trigger the release clause. We might see the release clause being triggered. So this week, in terms of the Benjamin Sesko story, if nothing happens, then there's a high likelihood that he stays at RB Leipzig. In the next 7 days, that's where I think it would be a little bit brutal for Arsenal to trigger that release clause as it goes into the Euros, because Leipzig know if he goes into the Euros and he comes out right in July, his contract, his release clause in his contract has actually expired, and they have won the battle. They have won the war. At the moment, they have given him a lucrative deal. They have given him whatever they think would actually, persuade him to stay. So it's up to him, right? So for me, this week, we will get a Benjamin Sesko clear definition, because Plea actually gave us an update, was it 2 days ago? And he said there is admiration, there is, concise admiration on both sides from Arsenal and Benjamin Sesko's camp. But he has not decided whether to leave Leipzig or to stay. And that is the decision that I expect to come out of Benjamin Sesko's camp this week. But also, I won't be surprised if this week we get a here we go for Benjamin Sesko. I'm not saying for Arsenal only. I'm saying Todd Boehly met up with the agent of the player in London while they were there to watch the final in Wembley. And I reported that story yesterday. Make sure you do check it out. So Todd Boehly talking to the agent means personal terms, means discussing money, means convincing. And we know how quick Todd Boehly is. We know how quick Chelsea are in terms of, getting in deals, getting deals done. They're absolutely mighty. They are very, very good in terms of negotiations. They're very good in terms of, getting deals done very quickly, right? So if they already signed Tosin Adebayo, their window has started. They want to get their manager up and running very quickly. I think that's Enzo must say. I've just forgot his name. I've just forgotten his name. So I think Chelsea will try to do early deals, and they've already started doing early deals. So if Arsenal think that they're in this deal alone, you might see a here we go from Fabrizio Romano, from David Ornstein, Sesko to Chelsea. Because, like I said, this deal is all about who agree personal terms, who has the better chance of talking to the player. Who talks to the player best, wins the tie. Because the 65 million euros, with Chelsea signing a defender on a free, that means they have some money to spend elsewhere. That is going to be peanuts for Todd Boehly. That should be peanuts for Arsenal. That should be peanuts for any club interested in that Benjamin Sesko deal. So it's a huge week in terms of what we expect to see at Arsenal. Maybe bids for Sesko, maybe bids for other players as well. We wait to see. And I also expect to see Fabrizio or David Ornstein coming up with a huge Arsenal target that is still at very, very early stages. Now, still in terms of this week, Fabrizio Romano has given us a major update when it comes to David Raya And it says in the coming weeks, Arsenal are expected to activate the buy option or the buy clause in the contract of David Raya. That is confirmed. No changes to the plan since day one. He is staying and is going to be AFC goalkeeper. I think Fabrizio reported this a couple of weeks ago, or even months ago, and he said Arsenal are very happy with David Raya, and they were looking to trigger his release clause. That is 27 million already this summer. So that is not changing. And in the next days, because our financial year began on Monday, on the 1st of June. That was Saturday, I think. So on the 1st of June, Arsenal's financial year 2024-2025 began. So we can make some signings, we can do some business, and we can splash some cash. So this week, you expect that David Raya deal to advance. You expect the Benjamin Sesko deal to advance as well. And in terms of the Emil Smith Rowe one, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, right? Whether Fulham are going to formalize their interest into an offer this week. I think it might be coming in a little bit too early for me, but I still think within the next 2 weeks, right, we expect to see at least offers for Emil Smith Rowe. Aston Villa, we know they love to do an early deal, especially under Unai Emery. Fulham will have to do an early deal, and whatever happens with Napoli, if they can sell one of their star players in Kavicha Kvaratskhelia or Victor Osimhen, right, we might see a very, very bold move from Napoli to sign ESR. So let's wait and see what happens in the next 7 days. Let's wait and see what happens before the Euros. But at least we are geared up and we are set up for such very nice entertainment. Now, in terms of Arsenal pursuing a winger, we talked about Bakayoko yesterday. Today, Fabrizio Romano again has confirmed the interest from Arsenal in Bakayoko, as well as a couple of other clubs. And he says Arsenal have been linked with Johan Bakayoko of PSV in the Dutch media. For now, I'm told there are many clubs in for Bakayoko, but there is nothing advanced so far with any particular club at the moment. For example, there is interest also from Germany, but from England too. It's open as a situation, but to develop in the next weeks rather than now. So Johan Bakayoko, one of the very interesting talents, very, very exciting talents in terms of world football wingers, wanted by Arsenal. Market value 45 million euros. We talked about him with Glenn extensively yesterday. Make sure you do check out that video. The title is Arsenal's next Neymar. I mean, the boy is a baller. He's an absolute baller. And I think with Bakayoko, when I think about his profile, he's 21. I think he's turning 22 very soon. He's left-footed, predominantly playing on the right-hand side. I think he comes in as a replacement for Saka when Saka is not available. He comes in for a backup for Saka when Saka is not available. Now, is it the best deal Arsenal could do? Probably no. I think a Michael Olise would have been a much better deal. But I think what Arsenal are trying to do here is spread the budget across different positions, make sure that we get a player in almost every position of need. And that's why I think his profile, Johan Bakayoko, would be such a very good player to target. He replaces Reece Nelson, who's, for me, non-productive. He might replace Fabio Vieira, who's been deputizing for Saka in that position. And then we might also see him play on the left-hand side at times, right? If Arsenal need that kind of directness, maybe swinging crosses into the penalty area, now that we have Kai Havertz and maybe Benjamin Sesko signing, Johan Bakayoko could be a player we could use on the left-hand side, if not on the right-hand side at times. So I wouldn't say it's the exciting Kudus Olise signing, but I would say in terms of profile, it makes a lot of sense. Now, many of you have told me he's exciting, he's this and that. Yes, there's so many raw talents that are exciting. We could talk about Desire Doué at Rene. We could talk about Bakayoko. We could talk about Nico Williams. We could talk about so many players that exciting. But when it comes to the Premier League and Arsenal and where we are at the moment, we are looking to win the title. We are looking to win trophies. And what that means is you have to bring in players that create impact. You have to bring in players that can change games. Can he change a game? I've seen his trickery. I've seen his directness. I think he can change again. His numbers in the last 2 seasons have been impressive, double figures in terms of goals and assists as well. So he's coming from an inferior league to the Premier League. So you don't expect him to come and, straight away, right away, blow up. But it would be an interesting one, especially with the likes of Trossard getting older, especially with the likes of Gabriel Martinelli as well, struggling a little bit. He would be an interesting one to see whether he would come in and push any of Martinelli or Saka to out of the starting 11, or even try to, be the superstar in this Arsenal team. I mean, it's a team of young players. It's a team where young talents are thriving. I would love to see it. So Bakayoko is one of the wanted players. Nothing advanced at the moment. Arsenal interested, just like clubs in Germany and just like clubs in England as well. I can also say that the David Raya deal is on the verge of happening. Benjamin Sesko, we are going to see a massive update from that deal, a massive twist, a massive change on that deal this week. And Victor Osimhen is waiting for Arsenal as Chelsea is no longer interested and they don't think that deal is financially good for them. If that deal isn't financially good for Chelsea, I wonder why anyone thinks it's financially good for Arsenal. See you soon.